Hey folks, this is B-Man from the MVP podcast, the People Show, where we talk about the most valuable players in the world of sports. And I'm really excited to let you guys know that today's episode is brought to you by T-Shack. T-Shack is a cafe based right here in Sheffield, and they make the most amazing tea. So I've already had mine, I've tried it, and I can vouch for it. It's brilliant. What I'm going to do is I'm going to leave the details down below for you guys to check it out. They also do deliveries for those of you that don't want to leave your house or don't want to have to travel to other sides of Sheffield. And yeah, I really hope that you'll enjoy this episode that's coming up. Please leave a like, subscribe. Thank you.
Welcome back to the MVP podcast. Here today with another episode of the NBA Redraft with my main man, the Chicago Bulls' very own Sosa Sauce with the sauce.
I'm a Sectan King, but for today, yeah, I'm rocking the twin. It's not even that. It's the 91. It's the 91. It's the 91. I'm rocking.
You should have worn that on the last video, man. You should have worn that on the last video.
Should have.
They should have been like a Lakers or a 76ers or something jersey, but mine are. But for those that are new to this, we are doing the 1996 NBA Redraft. Last week, I think it was, we did the 1984 where we kicked off the series. It was myself and B-Man. We redrafted the top 5 picks from that draft, and it varied quite significantly to the original draft. So today, me and Sosa, we're going to do the 1996, as I said, top 5 picks, and we base it on a number of different factors. So we base it on, the team's need. We base it on how the player turned out. We base it on how they would fit in this era as well. So in the 2020 era, not in 96. So we're kind of basing it on a multitude of different factors. So the original draft in 1996 went like this. Number 1, Allen Iverson, and he went to the 76ers. Number 2, Marcus Camby to the Toronto Raptors. Number 3, the king of stats, Sharif Abdul-Rahim, he went to the Vancouver Grizzlies. Stephon Marbury went 4th to the Bucks, but he was traded to the Timberwolves. And Ray Allen went to the Timberwolves, but he was traded to the Bucks. So 4 and 5 switched. So for this draft, we're not going to switch picks. We're going to draft for the Bucks at 4 and for the Timberwolves at 5, and that's it. Okay, so we're going to start off with the first pick of the 1996 NBA Redraft. And Sosa Sauce with the sauce, you are up number 1. Who is your pick, sir?
Well, first off, guys, if you like the video, don't worry about this. I got you.
Your line.
Like the video, like the video. And if you like the Chicago Bulls, like the video, or the Sacramento Kings, like the video. First pick, is obvious, isn't it? It's Kobe. Like, if it was anyone else, then I'd be hung from the rafters. Kobe is the guy. Like, not only is it, I'll quickly go into it, so you can say your part. But he was, at the time, he wasn't considered to be the superstar. So for how they were, it would have been more of a project.
Yeah.
But the fact that it was like, that was where he's from, Pennsylvania. So it made sense. So that's the first pick from my eyes.
Yeah, I mean, there was so much hype around, Allen Iverson, Georgetown. There was so much hype around him. And even though Kobe was a local kid, they didn't want to take that risk. They didn't want to take that chance. It was a surefire thing with Allen Iverson. I also take Kobe Bryant, rest in peace. I love Kobe Bryant. I was a Lakers fan. I still am a Lakers fan. I think he would fit in this era because he was so great. Like, you take MJ out, you take Hakeem out, you take Kobe out, LeBron, Kevin Durant. You take any of these special players, put them in any era, they'd work. Bill Russell, Kareem, Magic, they'd work. Kobe's one of those guys. He would work in any era. 5-time champion. Only 1-time MVP, which was, disappointing. And not because of him, but because of the guys who vote. He should have won multiple MVPs, in my opinion.
No, definitely.
2-time finals MVP. He had an unbelievable career. So, Kobe's number 1, unanimous. I'm happy we agree. As the way me and B-Man did it last week, where
your turn.
First and second, snake draft. So I will get the second pick.
Go on.
Oh, second pick, they're left on the board. There's Allen Iverson, Stephon Marbury, Ray Allen, Antoine Walker, Marcus Camby, all who had, wicked careers. But I'm going to go with Steve Nash. Steve Nash, number 2.
Okay. Let's hear your reason for it.
The reason why I'm putting Steve Nash is, okay, it kind of feeds off the Kobe thing a little bit. He was a 2-time MVP, so he took one of those from Kobe. He's a 2-time MVP. He initially revolutionized the offense in the NBA, and the D'Antoni system that we see today, they started it in Phoenix, the 7 seconds or less, and he was instrumental in that change. And the league slowly shifted towards what D'Antoni was doing with Harden now, what the Warriors did with Steph Curry and those guys. But he started it with Amari Stoudemire, the shoot in the pick and roll. Unfortunately, he didn't shoot enough threes, even though he was an unbelievable three-point shooter. And I think if he played today, his three-point stats would be so much higher, because he was a 39-point-something% three-point shooter, for a point guard. He was so aggressive. Injuries derailed him towards the end of his career. But I know that going in Toronto, he would have changed the culture. Toronto would have been relevant rather than waiting 20 years for a championship. And, the league, they just wouldn't be ready for that. Imagine Vince Carter and Steve Nash together and Tracy McGrady. He probably could have convinced McGrady to stay as well. It would have been unreal.
Bro, and he's Canadian, so it just fits.
Oh, yeah, damn it. I didn't even put that 2 and 2.
Well, actually, he's South African. Well, he was born in South Africa. He's English.
He's born in South Africa, but he's Canadian nationality. You're right, yeah. But
yeah, he's a mix.
Perfect fit.
You know what? I struggled with the first pick. I was telling you about this before we did this. I was struggling with the first pick, yeah. And it was either between obviously Kobe and then Iverson. But
yeah,
I didn't even take Iverson for the second pick. I took Ray Allen.
Wow.
I took Ray Allen. Reason being is because longevity is such a thing, man. Like, I didn't mention it for Kobe, but this guy was good for so long, and he reinvented himself.
Yeah.
Like, he went from being like a slasher to more of a 3-point specialist.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that he was like, you could see he was incredible. He won Rookie of the Year from this class. Out of all these guys that we've mentioned, he was incredible. And I feel like it just fit. I know with the actual team itself, like, I don't know too much about the team. I know that they took, who is it? They took Camby first.
They took Camby with their pick, yeah.
So it made sense that they would take a big, but like, there wasn't really that many bigs in this draft for them to really, that I would choose from. I think for what they had a good point guard in, I think it was Damian Stoudemire.
Yeah,
so they needed a wing. So it just made sense. Like, if I'm gonna take anyone out of this draft, they don't need another point guard. They don't need another ball handler that's gonna hold the ball and hog it.
Mm-hmm. But they had Ray Allen. They had Ray Allen, and they had I'm looking at it differently. That's wrong. I was gonna say they had Vince Carter and Tracy McGrady, but that was after. So yeah, I'm looking at it differently. So forgive me, you carry on.
No, so he would have been like Vince Carter before Vince Carter. So that's how it would have been.
You're right, and I looked at with the Steve Nash pick. I've looked at it slightly differently, which I shouldn't have. But assuming that things stayed the same, sort of thing, with Steve Nash there, Vince Carter and that coming in. So yeah, so that's where the logic was with my pick. Obviously, with your pick for Ray Allen, it makes sense as well. So you're up with number 3 then.
So I cannot. It would be blasphemous, as Stephen A would say, if I left him any further. Yeah, it's Allen Iverson. Like, if he's not that guy, like, talk about reinventing basketball. He reinvented like the whole league. Everyone was just like, no one had style in the league before this guy came through.
That's true.
He brought in that style. He brought in that flair, and specifically because it would have been easy for me to just say, yo, put him on Toronto. It would have been so easy. But for what Toronto needed, even though, again, he was consensus number 1, like you mentioned, he was that guy. Like, they said, when I was looking, I rewatched the draft, and they said that he was, for his 2 years, he won Defensive Player of the Year twice for Georgetown. He was like considered like one of the fastest players in the league, putting up like 30 points in college.
Yeah. He was like, amazing. He was amazing.
Like, he is the consensus number 1. So for him to drop this low is it's incredible amount of talent that there is. It shows how powerful this draft class was. But and speaking of Vancouver, I had to double check this. They had the lowest points per game average in the entire NBA. So you throw in a guy that averages 30. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're going to help. Sure they're going to help.
See, the thing with Allen Iverson is he's fallen for both of us. He's fallen for you 2 spots. The more we'll see in a minute where I put him. But the problem for me is why he's fallen so far is because of his style of play. I think compared to today and compared to sort of just generally, it's not a winning style of basketball. As great as he was and as influential as he was off the court, on the court, his style of play just doesn't fit. He's not a guy who's going to win you a championship. Yeah, they went to the finals in 2001, but that was a bit of a fluke as well. You know, they should have lost that Indiana team, but they won. They got lucky, they won. You know, a couple of injuries and they ended up winning. So, you know, he got to the finals and people will say, yeah, he got to the finals. Respect to him for that. But he isn't, for me, a winning brand basketball player. You know, he's probably better as a second star with somebody who... The problem is the ball stops with him. Ultimately, the ball stops with him.
You know, I'm going to disagree with you here, man, because I think for what it was at the time, yeah, it didn't fit. It didn't suit like the rest of the league, how they were playing and what he brought. But I think for now, considering it's a guard-driven league, he would be insane. Like you talk about, imagine a guy like John Morant now.
I can see your argument.
He would be insane.
I can see your argument, but I worry that, you know, like with the sensitive egos that we have in the league, and also, you know, the leadership style and whatnot, I feel like it rubbed a lot of people up the wrong way. And that's one of the main things. And also the fact that, you know, I don't know how much he'd buy in, because I feel like your offense is then the Allen Iverson offense. It's a bit different to like a pick and roll orientated or, you know, a spread the floor. And I think it's a little bit different. But with that being said, it'd be criminal of me to drop him any lower than 3 as well. And there's some unbelievable players to come, but I think he can't drop any further than 3. And like you said, Vancouver was a team in need of everything and in need of relevance. He would have put them on the map. He's that guy. He had the style. Philly was the right spot for him at the time, but he maybe would have given Vancouver some relevance. But it would have been interesting to see how it would have been in Canada. You know, how it would have been appreciated in Canada, his lifestyle is, you know, and everything. So, yeah, I'm going to go with that pick, but I think, you know, maybe 3 years in, 2 years in, they might be looking at a trade. They might be like, we want to trade this guy out. He wants to get out of here. We want to get him out of here.
No, you're not wrong. He did. There was questions about his attitude even before he was drafted. So
exactly.
Like, you're not wrong about that.
Exactly. But yeah, we love Iverson. And on 4th, so this is a tough one, but I've got to go with Ray Allen. I think for all the reasons you mentioned, I think, you know, the Bucks, they keep their pick, so they keep their man. So it's a perfect pick. He was unbelievable there. You know, he's an NBA leading 3-point shooter, playoff leading 3-point shooter, Mr. Clutch, saved LeBron's career in that finals in 2013. I know, you know, Heat fans don't like to hear it, but if Bosh doesn't get that rebound and he doesn't hit that shot, LeBron is 2-9, not 3-9. You know, it looks even worse. Who knows if they even make the finals the year after? You know, for that Boston Lakers series in 2008, he was massive, hitting threes, came into Boston, had an impact. He was the guy at the Bucks. He was the guy at the Sonics, you know, with Rashard Lewis and those boys. So I think, you know, take his career as a whole and the longevity, I think you can't go wrong with his pick. You just can't go wrong because he's the perfect second star. And as his career kind of faded out, he became the perfect third star. And then as it goes towards the twilight and the end, he was the perfect role player. And, you know, no one talks bad about Ray Allen as a teammate, apart from KG and you know, the whole leaving. But that's not as a teammate. That's the whole leaving for Miami thing. That's, as a person, you know, they A-class, man. So, yeah. Ray Allen 4 for me. What about you?
My 4th pick it's more of a nostalgia thing than like anything else. Yeah. I picked Stephon Marbury. You know why? Because he was a baller, man. He was a baller. And like, because I know he got traded for who did he get traded for? He got traded to Minnesota.
He did.
And it was a fit there.
He hated it there.
He hated it there. To be fair, he didn't have, again, he was similar to, his attitude wasn't like, wasn't great towards the game. Yeah. But for the short amount of time that he did play, he was he was ridiculous, man. Like, he was absolutely ridiculous. And the fact that the team itself, they needed they had their wings set. Like, as far as I did look at some research into the team, like they had
KG.
Baker at Pike. No, I'm talking about Milwaukee. Like this.
No, but right, okay, yeah. Thinking about the trade. Yeah.
Like, Milwaukee needed a point guard more than they needed a wing, as far as what I could see. Even though they took Ray Allen, he was more like, again, they took a 2 guard, knowing that they had like their 3 and their 4 set, and their 4s now back in those days were like, they're like a secondary center.
Yeah,
so they were more of a wing player, but I felt like Milwaukee needed a point guard, and he was probably one of my favorite points. Like, this shows my age. I'm a fan of this guy. Like, I remember him back at the Knicks. Like, he was ridiculous.
Nah, he was. All great.
Even on the Suns.
Knicks, man. They all go to the Knicks and have that one last run. Baron Davis today. So many of them have done it, man. He's another one. You know what? It's a good pick. I can't argue with it. It's a good pick. So you've taken Kobe 1. You've taken
Ray Allen 2.
You've taken Steve Nash.
Allen Iverson 3.
Allen Iverson, and then you now go with Stephon Marbury.
Yeah.
Wow, I've just realised you didn't take Steve Nash. Wow.
That's because Steve Nash is going 5th. Wow. Steve Nash is going to Minnesota to link up with KG, man. And say no more, like, him and KG would be...
I mean, that would be unbelievable. That would be
even though they'd be both young, raw talents, because, again, both of them weren't like... They didn't hit the ground running.
Exactly.
Like, if they could build together, they would be disgusting. That tandem would be ridiculous.
You've kind of done a B-man here, and you kind of drafted for the player more than the team, I'd say, like with some of these picks. So you've kind of given the player the best fit for him.
Yeah.
And again, I followed my same instincts as last week. I've gone with what's available and the best for the team, not for the player. So you guys, you've done it good. I like the way you've done it, but that's not how I did it, because as I said to him last week, it's all about the team. They have the power. The player can kick up a bit of a fuss like Kobe did, for example, with his agent, and a few others have done in the past. We're not playing there. But in the main, these top few picks, that is a good set of Steve Nash. I made the case for him, 2-time MVP. I can't complain. So you got a nice 5. So the one guy that you've picked, Stephon Marbury, he doesn't make my top 5. He actually comes in at 6. But we're not going to go to 6. But for me, I was struggling because there was still Sharif Abdul-Rahim. There was Marcus Camby, who had an unbelievable career. Solid, steady guy. There was Antoine Walker, who put up so many stats but could never finish a game out. But I went with a guy who won a championship, 4-time Defensive Player of the Year, undrafted in this draft as well. Undrafted. I went with Ben Wallace. Because...
Solid.
I think it would be... Okay, so I think here's the case against why he probably should be 5th first. In today's day and age, he can't shoot. He's not an offensive threat. He's another Dennis Rodman. He had a season where he had like 7 or 8 points or something and 15 rebounds. So he's another Dennis Rodman. He didn't need the ball. But I think that is also what makes the case for him. He doesn't need the ball. So he will literally do all the dirty work. And even if you don't use him as a big minutes guy, you don't have to. But I know for that time that he's on the floor, he's going to make it difficult for the opponent. You can probably play him as a 5, and okay, the shooting's not going to be there, but you can still maybe make it work with the spacing for the other guys. Unbelievable. It reminds me a bit like Tyson Chandler, how, on them years with the Knicks where they had all the shooters and he was just a guy slapping out the rebounds. And he would be similar. Yeah. He would be similar for me with the Minnesota Timberwolves. Him and KG in an era, back then where it was 2 big guys, like you say. KG would have been at the 4. He would have been at the 5. I don't know how it would work today. As I said, I think it would be tough, but I think thanks for jumping on and doing this NBA 1996 redraft and
redrafts.
Do your line again, Sosa.
Guys, if you like the video, I'm gonna lean in just real close so you can see me. If you like the video, subscribe if you're new, share with your friends. We do appreciate all the love and support that you give us. So yeah, lead us out, man. Lead us out.
We will be back again soon. So take it easy, boy.